Welcome back. So today we will be seeing one interesting tool that is Cypress. We will talk about what are the benefits of Cypress and why it is becoming popular these days a lot. After Selenium Protractor, now the Cypress is evolving a lot, and we will see the a basic structure or a quicker way of what do you call installing the dependencies and how we can start the Cypress test and run a sample test script actually. So most of the what do you call blogs or the resources that you see online are mostly into the JavaScript. But today we are going to see how this Cypress is supporting TypeScript out of the box, and are there any other setups or configuration we need to really do to make our test cases run. So that is what we are going to see. Now, why I'm talking about TypeScript, because most of what do you call front end developers now kind of migrating themselves from JavaScript to TypeScript. So that's the only reason actually. If you see any of the JavaScript based tools, now they are supporting TypeScript as well because of its flexibility of writing coding and the different other features. The TypeScript is becoming popular a lot. So today we will see the benefits of Cypress and also how quickly we can set up a Cypress project and write a TypeScript test and then run that. Okay, so let's get started. So first let's see that why Cypress. Okay, why should we learning Cypress? So the first reason that I feel is that it is supporting JavaScript and also TypeScript out of the box. So you need not to do hell lot of what do you call setups. But if you talk about protractor, there used to be like we used to do a lot of setups actually if you want to do with TypeScript, but that tedious task has been reduced with Cypress actually. And another reason is that Cypress has inbuilt assertions actually. Like if you talk about protractor or if you go with Selenium, we have to add different dependencies like your JavaScript, different unit testing libraries, the same thing with Selenium. But in case of Cypress, everything is bundled together. So you need not to do a lot of what you call different third-party libraries install with Cypress, because Cypress comes by default with all those features actually. And also another thing is that you can even do the API calls, you can read the HTTP responses in Cypress also. You need not to install any other dependencies. So that is one another benefit of that. And Cypress says that you need not to wait actually in your script because it has the feature of inbuilt waiting actually. So whenever a particular element is not visible or not present at that moment, it kinds of waits for that particular element to be visible or appear on the screen. So that is one of another main benefit where the synchronization is automatic between your script and the browser actually. Okay, but still whenever you need, you can just add your own ways. Okay, fine. And then taking automatic screenshots and videos, like we have already, if you are familiar with any other automation tools, you have to use and write different set of code to kind of utilize or taking screenshot for these things. Okay, so that one thing you will get out of box feature of Cypress. Okay, another thing is that cross browser support. So more than a year back when the Cypress started, it was only supporting with Chrome browser only. So that is the reason the protractor was booming a lot. But Cypress evolved a lot actually and kind of taken the features from different tools. What are the demerits? What are the lagging points on other tools? And it took them and then it tried to fit into the Cypress. So this is again another feature where you can run your test cases in multiple browsers without doing a lot of setup. Okay, and another thing is that it has a Cypress has a UI where you can select a particular test case and run it and see a report as well. It's a default report you can see. Also, you can run the CLI commands using the Cypress, where you can utilize that in your Jenkins CI/CD pipelines. So that is another benefit for a QA automation engineers, that they can get the benefit out of Cypress actually. And so these are all the simple and the straightforward benefits that what we can get from the Cypress I just listed out. But if you are looking for a detailed documentation, Cypress has a very good documentation, I must say. So you can follow their site actually. So this is the site where you can see there are a lot of different other feasible features they are giving actually. So you can get to know details about that. Okay. Fine. So now we are kind of convincing ourselves that I should be learning Cypress, or if I learned and I'm mostly into the JavaScript, then I can go with the TypeScript as well. So that is mostly for those folks this particular session is all about. Okay. So now without wasting time, let's get into the coding part. So for this, I'm going to use the Visual Studio Code. It is again open source from Microsoft. You can download based on Windows or Mac operating system. So once you install it, it will look like this actually. You can open, and the UI is very simple, and it is very much regular like any other IDEs. Okay, fine. So what we are going to do? So first thing is that I will create a folder actually under here under my user folder. I will say Cypress. Okay, the easiest way is that you just drag that folder to this. Now you can see the Cypress folder is visible here. Now right click on this left panel, you will see an open in integrated terminal. So Visual Studio Code gives you an inbuilt terminal so that you need not to open your terminal or command prompt. Okay, fine. So after I got this particular what do you call the Cypress folder created, what I will do, the first thing is that I will be creating a package.json. I'll show you the steps quickly, then we will see the demo. So first thing is that if you are very much familiar with the commands, you can create a directory by using this E2E or Cypress, whatever it is there. Then you navigate to that particular folder by using cd. After that, you can go and you will have to create a package.json. So package.json is required for any JavaScript or TypeScript projects, which will hold all of your scripts to run and also the dependencies that you are going to install there. Fine. And then we need the Cypress for sure actually to what you call to run our test cases and write our test cases as well. Then we need TypeScript. So this is one of the thing extra if you are from JavaScript background. Okay. So let's execute these commands one by one. So first thing I will be doing, I will say npm. Another thing to note is that for some people actually npm might not work out of the box if you're having a new system, or if you never worked on any of the JavaScript or TypeScript projects before. So what you can do, you can go to the Node.js. So let me just show you guys that. So you have to go to the Node.js, and then here the first link nodejs.org. So you have to download and install this Node.js. So which provides you the npm. Npm is a node package manager where all of the JavaScript or TypeScript libraries are there. It is very much similar to your what do you call the Maven commands are there. Okay, fine. Or else you can go with some NuGet packages for .NET background persons. So npm is basically coming from Node.js. So please do install if npm is not working for you. Fine. Okay. So npm, and then I will say init and then hyphen y. Now this will create the package.json. Don't worry about this. Actually, it is just saying that my npm is out of date. I need to update that. You can just run this command. You can see to update this one, but at this moment I'm just keeping as it is. And if you see here, it was a blank folder before. After I ran this particular command npm init hyphen y, you can see the package.json got created. Now let's quickly see the content. Name is Cypress. It is basically the project which I created. Version, because it is a new project, and you can just edit your own way. Cypress e2e test, you can just say like this. And then main is index.js. I'm not really worrying about this at this moment. And script is basically I have to write my own the Cypress related scripts to run my test cases. Okay, keywords at this moment I don't have any keyword. Author, you can just put anything if you want, and then license is automatically coming this ISC license. Okay, fine. Now we will be updating this package.json in a moment, so just hold it off to that. Okay, after this, what I'm going to do, I will be installing my Cypress actually. So for this, again, I will use the npm command and npm install, and I will say Cypress. Simple. Now this will install the Cypress runner and the all other features like the assertions, the API calls, whatever I want to do, everything will be packaged into this particular Cypress bundle. Okay, so let's wait for some time till this Cypress will download and extract. Okay, so as you can see, the Cypress 7.3.0 is installed, and as you can see, it even created two more files actually here, or the folders. Let's see that. So it created a node underscore modules. Now, what is the node underscore modules? So this is basically the folder where all of your libraries, whatever you downloaded, is kind of keeping here. And as you can see, we are installing the Cypress very specific to our project folder only. We are not installing this one globally. Now most of the node package managers or most of the TypeScript or JavaScript packages we install specific to this project only, so that we can keep the versions, we keep the libraries very much isolated to any other projects. So this is one of the good feature of TypeScript or JavaScript projects. So as you can see, it is having so many different other tools. As I told, so many different libraries are bundled inside this library Cypress. So you can see all of these things, and each one of these library is giving you one feature to operate actually, or to write your Cypress script. So we really don't care about these things what it is, but if I show you inside this .bin folder, the Cypress executor is there, so I can use the Cypress command like how I was using the npm command. The same thing, I can use the Cypress executor or command, and I can perform several tasks. I can open my Cypress UI, I can run my test cases, all those things we can do that. Fine. So let's keep it hold actually with the node modules. The second thing, as I told, we need to install the what do you call? We need to install the TypeScript actually. So for this, I will say npm install, and then I will say hyphen d or capital D, and I will say TypeScript. So this will install the TypeScript as a dep dependency. You can see here I just mentioned npm install Cypress. You can see in the dependencies it has been added actually. Now the benefit of this is that if I am transferring this project to somebody, like let's say you are downloading this project from Git or somewhere, and now you want to install that, so what you can do, you can just call npm install, and it will install all of the libraries that are mentioned inside this dependencies or dev dependencies. So you need not to individually npm install TypeScript, npm install mm, your Cypress or some other tools. You need not to install them individually by using the npm command. You just say npm install, it will install all of these dependencies at one shot. So that is one of the benefit of that. So let's run this one at this moment and wait for some time. Okay, as you can see, it even the TypeScript got installed. So you can see this is my dependency. This is under my dev dependencies. It is installed. So dependencies are very much core to your particular what you call project, the actual project. So it's a Cypress project. So that's why we kept in dependencies. Dev dependencies are basically for the developers or very much what you call third party libraries that you are integrating with your project. Fine. Okay, so we are done with the two libraries, the Cypress and then the TypeScript. Okay, now as I told, so after this I will be using, okay, I closed my terminal. Let me open it. So I can use the Cypress command to run to open the Cypress UI. Okay, so for this I will be adding two scripts here. So let me just copy paste from this note which I created here. So I'll just copy paste this one, and then instead of this I will paste it here. So to open the Cypress UI, I can use the command as Cypress open. To run my test, I can directly click on run button on the UI, or I can run this command. So now let me open real quick about the Cypress UI. You can see the folder structure is limited to node modules package.json. As soon as I open the Cypress UI, you will see one Cypress what you call sample project actually. So let me just go here and I will say npm run, and then I will say Cypress colon open. Okay, so this is the command I will be using. So as you can see, it opened, and also as you can see here, it created a folder structure here, a directory. So this is my Cypress folder. Inside this, I have couple of pre-built folders are there, which is coming from the Cypress bundle itself. So fixtures are basically the key value pair or the JSON value which I need to use across my project. You can add username, password, or any keys or any other details that you can mention here, and you can share this key value pair across your different files and folders in your project. So this is one of the a very good feature. Like as I told, integrations are very much for a particular QA automation engineer to prepare a framework. It is giving you almost everything out of the box. The only thing you need to care is to what do you call worry about your test cases, and then increasing the test case what do you call the test matrix actually, that one, or the test coverage actually. You need not to worry much about the project structure or the framework designing, because everything this Cypress is doing for you. So that is what one of the good feature actually, it is becoming more popular. Okay, fine. So integration is basically it is holding all of your the functionalities of each page or screen, and you can keep it. The actual test cases are relying under this integration folder. You can create as many as folders under this integration, and you can keep on write your own test cases here. And these are all in JavaScript, you can see. But in a very quick moment we will see how we can write a TypeScript and run that. Fine. Okay, so this is integration. Plugins, if you want to add any other plugins, you can go ahead and add your own way here, and you can utilize that across your framework again. Okay, and then support, you can use your own commands, some utility methods you can write it here, and these are very global actually. So once you write any method, you can directly use it across these things, across these test cases. So that's where you are isolating your implementation, and then you are calling them whenever you need. I can see the common methods actually, or the common browser actions. You can put it into the support folder. Fine. So that's pretty much about the folder structure. Now let's go to this UI. And as I was telling, under this examples folder, Cypress is giving lot of JavaScript test cases, and the same thing is kind of reflecting here as well. So now if I click on any one of these test case, it will launch your browser, and it will execute them. I really need not to open the browser explicitly, like in what do you call, in your Selenium, we used to say driver equal to new Firefox driver, or Chrome driver, all those things. Here it launches by default Chrome actually. And as I was telling, that Cypress supports multiple browser support. As you can see here, whatever the browsers installed in your machine, directly it is reflecting here. So as and when you need, you just need to select the particular browser, and then you can just execute the test cases. By default it selected the Chrome browser with the version as well. Now let me quickly run this. So for running that, just click on this one, and it will launch the Chrome browser, you can see. So these are all the commands it will execute line by line. Great. So as you can see, there are 14 different steps of this particular test case which ran, and all these steps are passed actually here. Or 14 steps means 14 different actions, like you can enter some text, you can focus, you can blur, you can clear some value. All these things were executed. And if I click on this, you can see each time I'm navigating to one of these steps, it is actually giving you all the actions actually. So it is kind of taking the screenshot of each of your action actually. So you can really go back and see the live preview of your each statement actually, whether it really acted or not. So in case of Selenium or Protractor, what we used to do, we used to record that by using third party libraries, and after executing we used to play that. But here, line by line, what this script really does, those things you can see the screenshot. So these are the live preview actually. This is not really a what do you call a screenshot, but a real preview of your kind of a time machine actually. You can see what actually happened. So this is one of the great feature of Cypress. Again, if you are getting some kind of exceptions or issues, you can go back to this particular steps and you can mouse over here and you can see what exactly happened. Like for an instance, you can see it typed actually fake at the rate email.com. So you can see those things. Now it deleted that. Now it is taking some alt text of that. So these are the things you can do it. And it is even giving you all the syntaxes as well. So you need not to really need to search a lot in the Google or do something. That is giving you a very much what you call detailed way of different sample projects which you can take and get the basics about how you need to automate the browser actions. Like let me quickly go to this. So you can see it is actually giving the JavaScript framework actually, where you can use the describe block, or you can get a context. What is this context is all about? You can see a before each. These are basically the hooks. Hooks means whatever you are doing that, every it block. So it blocks are representing one test case actually. So each it block before this before each will be executing. So this is basically the before method actually. And in each it block you will be having a description, and this is the method notation. Inside this method you will be writing all of your actions. Now for this, the cy is the global variable or global object which is holding the actual driver actually. And when you say cy dot, it gives, it exposes lot of different methods actually. Like get is kind of finding an element, and inside this you will be getting css selector. So Cypress by default supports css selector. So if you have id, name, class name, text, whatever it is there, you have to use the css selector inside this actually. And we will be discussing in our upcoming sessions how we can use different tools like selectors hub to kind of fetch the css selector out of the box, so that you need not to every time build your own css selector. So that will save a lot of your time. Okay, fine. And then different actions, like if I want to enter something, I can use the type method. To click, I can use the click method. Okay, so these are all JavaScript related, right? You can see the extension is .js, and then we just opened this particular Cypress UI and we ran all these test cases. Very simple actually. But I was talking about TypeScript, right? Now, how do I do that? So for this, it is very simple. Let me just create a new folder under this integration, and I will say TS samples. Okay, and inside this, I will be creating a new file, and I will give sample ts.ts. .ts means it is the extension of your TypeScript file. Okay. Now once inside this, I will be writing all of my code base actually. Whatever I want to code, I will be writing inside this. Fine. Okay, so let me do one thing. I will write describe, okay, and inside that I will be saying that registration form. Okay, I'm going to use one of our demo application where we will be automating the actions actually there. A quick demo actually there. Fine. Okay, fine. So inside this, I will be writing my it block again. Here I will say enter some value. Okay, and then here again I will be creating a method. So this is the syntax to create a method inside this. Okay, like as I was telling, I have to use the cy command. You can see it is a constant and a global variable. So if I say dot visit, so visit is basically to launch your browser and load the URL. So for this I will be using this particular URL at this moment. So QAB box sign up. So I will be taking this particular URL in double quotes. Fine. So my first line of code is done. Now I will be entering some value by using get actually. You can see it is accepting the CSS selector. So for this I will be right clicking on this particular application, and then I will be going here and then selecting this one. And if you go to the CSS selector or selectors hub, you will see the relative CSS selector. So if I click on this or copy this one, and here I will be coming and I will say username. So this is basically the username is ID. I can use the hash username to identify this element. So this is my CSS selector. You can see selector hub is giving the what do you call feature out of box. Fine. Now what I'm going to do here after getting that element, actually I will be typing something, right? So here I will say QAB box, something I'm typing. Now let's say that I want to do something like clicking on this button. Now right click and then this one, and you can see it is giving the CSS selector again. So I can quickly copy paste this one, cy dot get. Inside this I will be writing this one dot, and I will say click because it's a button, so I can click this one. Fine. So these are the three steps we are going to do that. And as you can see, I'm not writing any weights or anything. It will do on its own actually. Fine. Okay. So once I'm done with this, what I'm going to do, I will open my Cypress UI actually here. Now let's see. As you can see, the sample file which I have added, the TypeScript, it's kind of reflecting here. So I will be clicking on this and then it will open my browser and then it gives me some error. Now what is the error? It is telling that the files list in the config file, there has to be a tsconfig.json should be there. Because it is a TypeScript file, I need to tell this project or Cypress that I am running a TypeScript project. So for this actually you need not to do a lot of things. TypeScript or Cypress is giving you already a feature or a tsconfig sample actually. Like if I'm clicking on this, yeah. So what you can do, you can just copy paste this entire content and go to the what do you call your go to the project directory, create a new file. Not here. Okay, let me first do this and then I will drag it to the root folder. So I will say tsconfig.json and then I will be copy pasting and save it, and I will be keeping it out of these things and moving it out. Now here I'm telling that the type means Cypress will be considering the type, that is the TypeScript actually. And here I'm including all of the TS files because the extension of this is .ts, right? So that's the regular expression I'm using. Target for TypeScript, I am targeting the ESLint 5 actually, and here the DOM is document object model, that is the library I'm going to use. So you just need to copy paste this. That's it you need to do. Now let's rerun our project. So let me open the Cypress UI, stop this one. So it closed the current browser, and then let's go back to our TS file and then click on this one. And as you can see, it really worked this time. You can see it loaded this URL, getting the username field, and then it is typing the value. You can see QAB box, and then it is getting the home button and then clicking. Upon clicking this one, it is navigating back to the home page, right? See how nicely you can see all the time machine or the before the steps in a visualizing all these things. And then here you can see total number of test cases. I have made on one test case or one it block. Each it block is considering as a test and it is executed within 6 seconds of time, this entire thing. Okay, so as you can see here, even it is telling page loaded, it means that it waited till the page is loading and it identified the new URL as well, because as we perform certain action, the URL got changed and it is giving you that as well. Fine. So this is one of the cool feature. You can again go back to this Cypress UI, the UI, and you can just stop it, and your browser will be closed. So this is mostly from the UI. We will even see the CLI ways where we can execute the test scripts from the command prompt itself. Okay, so this is one of the beginner session. So hopefully this TypeScript, the quicker way of executing the TypeScript will help you, and most of your JavaScript concepts or JavaScript stuff, whatever you have written, you can directly use it into the TypeScript file also. Just the configuration you need to do is real quick. Let's go to this summary that you have created one new folder. Okay, after that you have created the package.json, install the Cypress, then you install the TypeScript, and which is now appearing into your package.json. Then you have to add the tsconfig.json. Actually you have to copy the content from the Cypress itself and then paste it. Once you are done with that, In the package.json, you can add this particular script which you can use, and to open that, you can say npm run cypress open. So this will open your Cypress UI, where you can it lists all of your test cases. Upon clicking that, it will pop up your browser and will execute your test cases. Okay, so hope this session will help you and then will motivate you to learn a different tool actually. If you are basically coming from Java or Selenium with Java or from protractor background, you will definitely love this particular tool. Okay, fine. So that's pretty much it for today. And do subscribe to this YouTube channel and stay tuned. Thank you for watching.